As the kids would say, oh my God, highlight of the week is none other than Meghan Kelly, who joins us now from the US. Meghan, I don't know why I did it that way, but I did. How are you?
I'm so good, and I want to be with you and Rita to watch part 2. Can we do it together? I wanted to be with you. I laughed out loud.
Thank you. That is such a great idea. We might follow up on that, if you will. This damn thing, right? So as you saw with Rita, it's ludicrous.
Yeah. You know what they're mad about? What this all boils down to? They get bad press. They're mad. They used to get universally good press, and now it's turned kind of sour, especially since they started whining nonstop. And they're mad. Well, you know what? She's not Princess Diana, and he can't protect her from the press because we're the press. It's called the free press for a reason. We don't answer to Prince Harry. So he never should have promised her that he could have quieted us down. He could have protected her. And he didn't need to promise that anyway because she didn't believe that promise because she's an American and she knows how the game works. She loves the press. He loves the press. Valentine Roy over there in the UK was reporting Harry's biggest fear is that he's about to become irrelevant as soon as Prince George hits 18. He's got a limited window to be relevant at all. He's not worried about press. He's worried about fading out as an irrelevant royal. He loves it. She loves it. They just don't like the bad stuff. Well, guess what? It's called being a public figure. Grow up and deal with it.
Well, in the same way that they get paid for all the stories they're telling now, it's only because of the profile / infamy / whatever that they had going into those meetings with all those companies that gave them all that money to talk about the inside. And even then, let's be really honest, there's not a lot of there.
Oh, my gosh. There's nothing, honestly. These two people are boring. There's nothing to hold on to. There's nothing. This is why the Queen never wanted anybody to say anything. She knew these people behind closed doors. She was like, for the love of God, don't talk. Don't let the people get to know you. Stay mysterious. Trust me on this. She's gone 2 months and they blew it. There's a reason that they don't put these people out there. They're not supposed to be particularly warm and fuzzy and for us to be able to hold on to. They're supposed to just represent the history of this tradition in this family. Well, once they start talking, it goes downhill, especially these two who are completely vapid and after so long continue not to get. They don't even try to preface any of their remarks with, we're so lucky. We get it. We have great lives. No, they're still poor me. We're in danger. The royal family's evil. We were the only warm and fuzzy ones. It's so fun to tell the mean stories. If I set it to soft music, I'm going to look nicer. That's their whole gig. And then the fake, like, the finality. Thank God we're finally telling our story. It just feels so good to finally tell it after we told it already to Oprah and to New York Magazine and in a memoir and in this docuseries. I mean, like, we've heard it. There's nothing new. Give us something new. Maybe we're going to get something new on Thursday. I look forward to it. I look forward to reacting. But so far, it's been a retread of old, whiny grievances.
So, okay, they want to be famous. But does she want to be more important than famous? Nigel Farage tells us on air yesterday that he thinks she's going to run for Congress. Do you think that is really what she wants to do?
I hope she does. I really do. When she gets to that cesspool and realizes that they're all only as smart as Prince Harry, she's going to be horrified.
There's no more trading up. Joe's married and there's no more trading up.
No, I will give her that. She seems quite clever. She's a master manipulator. That bite where she does the bit on Kate, I'm just a hugger. I'm just warm. I'm that way. And, they're more formal behind closed doors. And that was surprising. By the way, Paul, that is a word that PR reps who try to manipulate message, that's the word they tell you to use instead of horrifying or disgusting. This is what they try. Surprising. That's surprising. So much so my great girlfriend and I, who's also a member of the media, we always say surprising. Oh, that was surprising. That's her way of saying they're hideous. And then it's back to me and royal. It was just like meeting the Queen. It was just like going to medieval times. Ha, ha, ha. Now, on the bow thing, I think this is kind of interesting. I think that was for an American audience. I think she forgot that the vast majority of people who are interested in her are probably in the UK. They don't love her, but they're interested in her because, she took away their prince. And so I think the bow, while I haven't seen a ton of Americans reacting that negatively to that because we don't bow to anybody over here and we kind of fought a whole war so we wouldn't have to. But his look, I saw you and Rita, the look on his face spoke volumes. And I think it spoke for most Britons who were like, you chose this. Nobody made you marry Prince Harry and come give up your citizenship, give up your religion, and come to our country. Get out.
Also, when anyone is telling their truth, the truth, if no one is willing to say that in their entire life they've ever done anything wrong ever, then I don't believe anything that they have to say. The fact that they don't at any way, in any level, talk about ever doing anything wrong means I don't believe them.
Oh, I mean, there's no worse example of that than her father. So all of the reporting on her dad is uniform. He was very good to her growing up. This is not a case where, your therapist tells you can make a clean break with a bad parent. This is a case of a loving dad who she said was the apple of her eye. She was a daddy's girl her whole life long. He screwed up in dealing with the paparazzi. That was his sin. He didn't deal with it well. Her whole documentary is about how evil the paparazzi are and how difficult they are to deal with. But her provincial dad living there in Mexico by himself, he's supposed to have it down. He's supposed to never misstep. He's supposed to have it all figured out. So he missteps, allows the paps to take pictures of him for money before the wedding, and then tries to avoid her because he's probably embarrassed he did it. That's it. That was his sin. He's dead to them now. You know why he's dead to them? Because he's white, working class, overweight, and Mr. and Miss Perfect, who, as you point out, don't make any mistakes, don't want the association. That's what's so disgusting about them.
The great promise here is that, the next 3 episodes are the wedding and then the breakup and then no doubt what our future is, right? The big tease they're trying to push is that the palace would lie to protect William but not tell the truth to protect Harry. Okay. Again, good hook if you've gone through the first 3, but I'm not really sure the first 3 are going to do as well. And so the last 3 are going to do as well as the first 3, because if you weren't crook by the end of it, you're not going to go for the whole meal.
I mean, I'm interested in it because I think this is where the dirt's going to be. This is like, okay, I'm 3 hours into this nonsense. I'm not getting paid enough for this. It better start to get interesting soon. And I'm really kind of hoping that there's some delivery in parts, 4, 5, 7. I don't know what number we're on. But I do think they're going to make it about the palace selling them out. That's what the trailer suggests, that there was an intimation in the first part that not just did the palace not protect them, but that they were planting. They were affirmatively planting hit pieces on her in particular. And you know what, Paul? I don't know whether that's true or not. What Dan Wooten tells me, who's broken a lot of stories on the royals, is that the palace every time told him to shut up. They tried to stop the news that was bad about Meghan. They tried to protect her. But let's assume it is true and that they planted negative stories on her. That's the way the game works. It's ugly and it's unfortunate. Trust me, I've been on the receiving end of this from people who are supposed to have my best interest at heart, and it's not pleasant to realize those people actually sold you up the river. But it's part of the game when you're a public figure. Again, you don't think she was leaking to the press, she and Harry? Negative stories about Kate, about Wills, about their situation there. And so there's a tit for tat that goes on. But as you point out, they'll never tell you their hand in it. They'll only talk about the part in which somebody punched them back in the face, which is what you're supposed to do to a bully.